Yo, what's poppin'? It's Tommathan, and today I'm going over the best match of the season for the second half of the league. If you're interested in what I chose for the previous 10 teams, go check out that video. Anyway, the best match doesn't have to be a win. It could just be the most enjoyable match, the best played, the biggest implications, the most memorable, whatever. As long as I can justify it, it's good to go. And I'm doing no duplicate matches. So, first off, don't ask me how the Valiant are in this video and how London aren't. I don't know how LO came before LA for me. Oh, I guess LOS. Okay, sure. Lost. Whatever. Okay, I figured it out live. Nice. But yeah. So, LA Valiant, starting off. I'm going with their Summer Showdown Week 18 qualifier match against the Chengdu Hunters, which was a 3-2 win for the Valiant. And despite being at the very bottom of APAC, the Valiant had some crazy matches. In fact, they were tied for the most map 5s in the regular season at 10 with Houston. However, unlike Houston, who won 80% of their map 5s, Valiant won just 50%, which isn't awful, I guess, but it's like, you really need those wins, because you're not getting, you have 2 wins that weren't map 5s, so you kind of got to get your map 5s, you know what I mean? So anyway, going with their 3-2 win over the Hunters in the last week of the Summer Showdown qualifiers, because it gate-kept Chengdu from a tournament appearance. For the Hunters, the plan was simple. They were 2-2 entering the final week of the Summer Showdown qualifiers, and then they lose to the Charge prior 3-0, and they need this win because the person who got in over them, the Philadelphia Fusion, were 2-4. So they just needed a win, and they were playing the Charge and the Valiant had no wins on the stage. They were 0-5. So you're looking, and you're the Chengdu Hunters, you're like, you know what, we should get in right now. But they're here, they come through, they go down 2-1, but they fucking bring it back and torch any chances that Chengdu had at anything resembling success for this season. No tournament appearances, no playoff appearance, and if the Valiant don't win this match, then the Chengdu Hunters pull through and at least show up to a tournament. At least show up. Would they have won it? Definitely not, but they would have shown up at least. For the actual match itself, I think it encapsulates the Valiant season pretty good. They were a team that's not really a major threat, but they're still relevant. You still have to fight for your wins against them, right? You can't take them for granted. You had some classic no-hill cooking with Becky favoring Echo in an otherwise hard Jotes meta with Sojourn and Genji. You have Innovation coming in for a little bit of Mei action because fuck it. You get Dia playing the Junker Queen all the way through that stage because why not? I don't know. I thought Marvel would have a good queen on him, but they said fuck it, we're going Dia, and it worked out. And you even had EasyHan getting the better of Leave on the Sojourn, which is not natural. You would expect, Leave to pop in, kind of send EasyHan to hell, but no, EasyHan actually got the better of Leave on the Soj. So that's just how it goes sometimes. I don't know, but it was just like a brawl on both sides that you get some interesting gameplay from it, and otherwise a pretty impactful match. Valiant didn't play too many impactful matches, so I think that one makes sense. Now we're going for the New York Excelsior. I'm going with their Countdown Cup qualifier Week 22 match against the LA Gladiators. And you're thinking, wait, I don't remember New York beating LA. Well, they didn't. They lost 3-2, but it was very memorable. And not many teams can say they brought the Glads this close to defeat. I guess you can say, oh, but in the Summer Showdown, they weren't that good. Yeah, but they lost to the good teams, right? They lost to the really good guys. Nobody like New York was putting it up to the Glads like this. So yeah. And New York only won 4 games, so unless you want me to put in whenever they almost beat Doge, I guess, or something like that, it's like they didn't really have too many impressive wins. So this one makes a lot of sense. And it's the most interesting. So this was just a purely mechanical battle. And the Glads sunk down to New York's style and level of play, and they straight up almost lost to it. Because New York's dive, spearheaded by Yaki, who was now an LA Gladiator, fittingly enough, was just insane. Yaki was going ballistic on the Tracer to the point of outplaying Kevster overall in the match, which not very many people do, unless your name is proper, I would say. And Flora was on the Sombra, and he was doing Sombra things. He was contributing enough, but it was really Yaki. Yaki's that guy. And they had Kellen on Zarya too. So it's not even like Kellen was doing work on like the Winston or anything. It was just Yaki Flora fucking shit up, right? And Kellen Zarya is not crazy. It was not crazy by any stretch of the imagination. He was out playing Reiner on Zarya. His face was sick at this time, so Reiner was stepping in and playing he was playing everything. He was playing Diva, he was playing Winston, he was playing the Zarya, he was playing Rein, he was playing Orisa, he was trying it all. Eventually, they do get the win for the Gladiators. They kind of pick themselves up, right? But the New York Excelsior had a pretty damn good game. You also get the Ho-Won and the Gangnam Jin playing Ana Zen, and that's exactly what you want them. You don't want Gangnam Jin on, on main support. Realistically, if you can get him on the flex support, it's all there. But yeah, Yaki's that guy. Pretty good interpretation of New York this season, I would think. You know, Yaki trying his hardest to make anything happen, but it's not enough. It's just not enough. So I'm going with that. Next up, we have another team that maybe not the best. The Paris Eternal. I'm going with their Mid-Season Madness qualifier week 7 against New York because it's their only win in the entire season. And they won it 3-2. This was their only win. It literally has to be this match. And I don't even want to talk about it that much. It wasn't that impressive. There's nothing to write home about. It's just like, something has to go here. You have two shit teams. One of them has to win. That's just how it works in this format, right? One of them has to win. So it's like, sure, we're running here. And this is before the big roster overhaul. You still have you have Dove, Wub, I combined them. Don, Vestola, Dridro, and Khan. You don't have, the entire revamped roster. It was like Dove's second game. He was all right, I guess. He was fine. But the best part was probably the back line for me. I like Dridro a lot. I think his Brig was really good. I think Khan's BAP was good. His Zen also. Just somewhat of a bright spot, you could say. But yeah, it is what it is. It's Paris, right? And it's just kind of crazy to me. This is the last Paris Eternal win ever. There are no more Paris Eternal wins. This will go down as the last one, unless they come back somehow. But they won't. Another team that's not a thing anymore. The Philadelphia Fusion. Now we're getting into some real shit. So, I'm going with their Mid-Season Madness lower bracket quarterfinal match against the Hangzhou Spark, which was a 3-2 win for Philly. And these two teams were just at each other's throats all season. And this match was really special to me because the Hangzhou Spark were looking like real threats, despite having just lost to the Gladiators in the previous day, which I talked about in the previous video, if you want to go check that out. But Fusion were working their way through the lower bracket with MN3 and Zest popping off, and as well as some absolutely astounding ball gameplay from Belosria after they had been sent down by the very same Hangzhou Spark that they would later defeat. But yeah, Zest on Tracer, Belosria on ball. They were setting up dives extremely effectively, and the Hangzhou backline, but specifically Irony, I would say, were really not having a fun time. They were getting kind of pulse bombed off cooldown, kind of slapped around by Belosria, and this was the best Wrecking Ball gameplay that the entirety of Season 5 had to offer. Was probably this match, or at least Belosria in this tournament in general. The stuff he was able to do, the plays he was making, Bernard just wasn't even close to matching it. Far and beyond. And even though Shy was very clearly the best hit scan in the lobby, MN3, he was holding his own. He had some pop-off moments. It wasn't like he was hurting Philly's chances of winning or anything like that. But when you're going up against Shy, it is what it is. It's tough. It's tough. But it's a pretty poor battle of the back. If you have to go for the battle of the backlines, though, nobody's on the edge of their seat for this one. I'll be honest. You have Fix It, Aim God versus Irony Super Rich. It's like, it happened. It's there. You're more looking at, can Zest and Belosria fuck shit up fast enough before Shy kills the enemy tier? That's basically it. But Philly getting their revenge for being sent down and cementing themselves as the best team from APAC at this point. They made it the furthest. Kind of does that. So I think I add that little bit of sweetness that'll make me put this one as the best Fusion match for Season 5. Now, San Francisco Shock. So there's some obvious ones with this. You could do the Grand Finals, but I did that for Dallas. So I'm not doing the Grand Finals. You could do any other playoff match where Proper was just unstoppable and was the best player in the lobby if you'd like. You could do that. Their match against Hangzhou stands out a little bit, but I'm going with their Mid-Season Madness upper final against the LA Gladiators, resulting in a 3-2 win for the Shock. Because this match had some really cool adaptations for both teams that kind of went against the meta, and not go against it completely, but they had their personality show through this, right? So you get Shock playing Kaluj on Diva, right? That's not a thing that happened almost ever. He plays the Diva on Eichenwald, gets the dub. You get Gladiators playing Funny Astro and Lucio, who won both of his maps. Now, it's not like Lucio was unplayable or unviable, but Brig was getting more playtime. The double flex support backline was getting more playtime. So Funny Astro on the Lucio was like kind of like their thing, you know what I mean? That put them on top in those maps. And then you get, perhaps the most shockingly, a Hog Mirror in the final round of the final map in a 2-2 game. Like, who does that? Who does that? These guys are freaks. What is that? What is that? Hog was not being played. You know, they just said, fuck it, we're running it Hog. Like, fucking love that. I fucking love it. So, classic Proper versus Kevster. Just an absolute banger. You have Proper playing mostly Tracer, but even back in the mid-season madness, he was getting 5Ks on Sojourn. He was a beast. Don't get it twisted, right? You also get Sam having a very clean Echo and Sojourn game. And actually, in the 3 maps he got, his stats were very comparable to Proper. I don't know. Sam had a nice one. And then Kilo actually also had some impact. He won both of his maps and outplayed Ons in them, I would say. Then you get Kalu showing his flexibility, playing 5 different tanks, with his Sigma being front and center, as it should be. But also, you know, the Diva was there, the Hog was there, he got a bit of a Doom in there, he had a little bit of Winston in there. But unfortunately, you also have Mikey playing the Wrecking Ball, which is the only character I want to see him on. But unfortunately, Krusty has a deep love for Mikey on Winston, and they put him in on Coliseo, and they would just lose it. Okay, it was a very close Coliseo, but still. Come on, Krusty. Mikey Mouse, what are you doing? But yeah, finally, Finn Violet playing double flex support. That's all you can ask for. That's all you need. What else could you want from this Shock team? But yeah, the killer instinct from Shock here was very evident. It was there. And it wasn't quite there in the next day, which is sad, because I'd like to say that their next day was better in their grand finals, but this was definitely a better played match from the Shock. For sure. Next up, Seoul Dynasty. Okay. I'm going with the kickoff clash lower finals. There's no other option here. Against the Shanghai Dragons. A 3-2 win for Seoul. And this is the match in the tournament that set the bar for the rest of Seoul's season, and they never met it after. Just wasn't there. Seoul was knocked into the lower bracket very early in a 5-map loss to the Dragons, and were looking for revenge, while Shanghai were knocked down unceremoniously in a 3-0 fashion by the Philadelphia Fusion, who would not have a very good kickoff clash finals. Let's just say it like that. This was the true finals for the kickoff clash in APAC, and this was an absolute banger, right? And Shanghai were preferring the Zarya comp. They're putting Void in here. They put Fleta on the Reaper guy, and even though Seoul were willing to match it and they were playing pretty good in the mirror, Shanghai won the mirror in the 2 maps they did, right? Smurf was still good. He was still doing his thing on Zarya, but not quite at the same level, right? Then, whenever the dive mirror comes through, Smurf is on top. Whenever they play dive into the Zarya, Smurf's there. Smurf even played Diva in the Diva mirror on Ilios Lighthouse, and they came out on top there, largely with the help of the big profit 2K Pulse Bomb that just turned the tide of everything. But I'll talk about that in a moment. So, the backlines are pretty evenly matched, right? But I'd say Vindame's Brig was a bit of a difference maker in terms of who was doing what. But Izayaki, you know, creative at the time, they're doing the most. You get Fitz versus Lip on the Soldier duel. Actually, I would say this was decently close. Lip was definitely, you know, a bit ahead, but the gap between the Soldiers was not as large as a gap as it would have been with the Sojourn. You know, the Soldier didn't have as much impact as a Sojourn would in later stages. So Fitz, you know, he played very well. He did his job. Maybe the best Fitz played all season, you could argue. Something like that. But still, Lip was on top. But now, I'll talk about the big guy here. I've already talked about him. This is the match that contributed the most to Prophet's Roll Star status for the entire season. It was definitely his most impressive match of the year. The things he was doing on Genji and Tracer were insane. As I said, that 2K Pulse Bomb. He clutches up an overtime match point. If he doesn't hit this Pulse Bomb, it doesn't kill 2. Shanghai straight up win the series. They probably go on to win the kickoff clash, and they go on to win 2 tournaments. And Seoul stays at 0 as a franchise. That Pulse Bomb was pivotal. Insane. And then you look at his Genji. Yeah, who are you could compete on the Genji? That's very true. But the Prophet Tracer was just unmatched. He was just controlling the lobby. He was dominating it. And this is definitely my favorite match between the big 2 guys in APAC, being Seoul and Shanghai, in this season, at least. And now, going to Shanghai. And we're going to talk about Seoul more too, because we're in the Summer Showdown Grand Finals, which was a 4-2 for Shanghai. And they had just 3-0'd Seoul in the winners finals the day before. And at the time of this match, before it happened, they had only lost 1 map in the entire stage. So they lost 3 total, 2 of them to Seoul in the final. So Seoul came to play. Seoul really did come to play. But the Shanghai Dragons were just something else. And this was probably the only time Shanghai looked anywhere near as dominant as they did in the previous season, right? In Season 4, best Overwatch 1 team to ever play. Not there in Season 5, this is as close as you can get to it. Because they had just the best character, the best player for every character, across every role. They were insane, right? There was something else in Jits. Who are you being able to literally turn into Genji IRL? The dragon literally became him. If you took a picture of Who Are You while he's Dragon Blading, you would see a Dragon Blade. Just a PNG of the Dragon Blade playing the game. Nobody can explain it. You would never see anything like that. He's insane. And the shit he was able to pull out of nowhere was just inconceivable, even without the blade. Specifically without the blade, he would just fucking go in. He's down 3. He doesn't give a shit. He's that guy. And then, of course, we all know Lip on the Sojourn. We are all very familiar with Lip on Sojourn. And the crazy thing about this is Stalker and Fitz were easily the next best DPS line in this stage. Compared to Who Are You and Lip, they were 2 tiers below, right? These guys were just different. Just different. The synergy from Raw Gaming, Who Are You dives in, he's gonna kill you, or you're not looking at Lip, and now Lip just killed you from across the map. That's just... Lip had 10k damage for 10 in this match compared to Fitz's 8. And I can write down some more stats here. It does not stop. But Shanghai did a great job pressuring out Shout and then engaging when they're up resources, and they're very smart. As much as I'm hyping up, the raw individual play, there was good team synergy there as well, right? Because you have Izayaki's break just living, despite being ran down by Prophet on the Brigitte. Don't forget, Prophet was just playing DPS break. Stalker was just running it down. But Izayaki Void, their survivability, and how they just played their live, insane. And then you also have Lee Jae-gon. He can just do whatever. He's Lee Jae-gon. He can go up. He can do whatever, But yeah. Seoul won their 2 maps. They did win their 2 maps. Now, the way I'm talking, you might think, well, Seoul got kind of rolled. They won their 2 maps, but whenever they won their 2 maps, it was very close. When Shanghai won their maps, it was not that close. They just kind of won. So I just got to go with Shanghai all day. And that Coliseum, specifically, where Seoul won on the Coliseum, that was the most back and forth Coliseum I've ever seen. It was going back and forth. There was Seoul, boom, 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 right till the overtime. I highly recommend going back to watch that one. So now, Toronto Defiant, my team, one of my teams. There's only one choice for me. It's obvious to me because I was there. Summer Showdown, lower bracket semifinal against the Florida Mayhem. The hype for this match in the building was unreal. Both teams had played earlier. Toronto had just smoked the Outlaws. Florida had an insane reverse sweep against London, which I talked about, and it happened twice in the season, so you could be well, which one? That's a crazy question. But yeah, this was crazy. Defiant were still in the tournament against all expectations. Nobody thought they were here. I thought I was buying my tickets. I was going to see Defiant play 2 matches, call it a day. No, they're still here. So the crowd is just getting stronger and stronger as they realize, wait, we can actually do things. Hold up, let them cook, And Defiant were looking really scary. But so did Florida. And actually remembering that I wanted Florida to beat London because I was like, shit, we lost to London to go in the lower bracket. So I don't want to play them again. They seem to know what they're doing. But then Florida pulls through. They're up 2-1 in the match. And I'm like, shit, maybe I would want to be playing London right now. These guys are scary as hell. But they do bring it back. And this was the best Toronto played all season. They had really sound team play. And that was what really carried them. They were all on the same page. They all knew what they were doing. And some teams have, proper go kill. Hanbin, I'm going to go run in and kill 5 in a 1v9 or do whatever, stuff. Toronto's like, no, we're all on the same page. We know what the fuck's going on. And I don't mean that, they didn't have pop-off moments. They had pop-off moments. You got Hisu on the Ash. He's just a maniac. He can find kills that just would not happen on the Soj. You get Twilight deciding, you know what? I don't care that we're losing this fight. I'm going to rally and just win it. I don't know how many times he do that. I'm like, Twilight, why are you rallying right here? He just says, we've won. I'm like, damn, my bad. And Chorong had an insane game as well. Insane boops. Huge Ajaxes. Not from him, but because of him. Booping Surma Jed on the Lucio up into the air. But the biggest surprise has to be Aldo getting a full land buff and not only competing with checkmate on Genji, but straight up being a driving force for the Defiant. I thought he was a liability to the success for Toronto, but in this game, he showed up huge. And there's a very good chance that Defiant wouldn't have even placed third without him. He actually turned it on. I don't know, maybe it was because he was able to take advantage of the Ana Zen backline that they played sometimes. Maybe he just had that dog in him. Maybe they snuck something into his water bottle. I don't know. That was the best Aldo we've seen. Period. Straight up. Okay, next. My ass can't speak. I'm going with the Vancouver Titans in the Summer Showdown qualifiers, week 17 against the Washington Justice, being a 3-2 win for Vancouver. So, no, you read these guys off, not the most riveting match. Just not. But it is probably Vancouver's most impressive win of the season, and it was actually the third of a 3-game win streak that would not secure, but would give them a cushion and the ability to make it into the Summer Showdown tournament, right? And it gave them a bit of credibility, because before this, they only beat Paris and New York in the stage, and they lost to Toronto, whereas Washington, they took Shock to 5 maps. They had 2 3-0s under their belt with Paris and Florida, and it's like, oh no, no one was like at the top of the hill screaming, they beat Washington, yippee! You know, that's not what was going on. But it was still nice for them. You know, it was like, okay, they're real, they're valid. They're not just beating the bottom 2 guys. But Vancouver were very good at playing in the tug of war that was just, right? They knew when to re-engage, disengage, all that stuff. They were very good at it, and it gave Aspire a lot of time to cook. Whereas the Justice just said, fuck it, we ball, run it down, balls to the wall. Kalio's hold down W the whole time, which is not what the Washington Justice are known for, but they were good at it in this stage. And it just kind of ended up being a scrappy mess between Aspire, Decay, who's popping off more on the Sojourn. You had a decent Genji duel between King and Assassin. This is one of King's better games, I would say. But like, the main focal point here is your Sojourns. Those are your star players in each team. They were trying to one-up each other constantly. But they win this game. They end up being able to qualify for the Summer Showdown. So I think it kind of has to be this one for Vancouver. And now, for the final team, we have the Washington Justice. I'm going with another Summer Showdown game. Lots of Summer Showdown. I don't know. Maybe that's because the maps were kind of weird. It's very standard meta. Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, upper bracket quarterfinal against the Dallas Fuel, which was a 3-2 win for Dallas. But this is just Washington Justice. This is just them. They fucking come out. They 2-0. They're up 2-0 against the eventual tournament champions. And then they get reverse swept. And 2 days later, whenever they play their next game, they're just out of the tournament. What is that? What is that? Somebody tell me. And the crazy thing about this, I could have picked their Kickoff Clash version, where they came in up 2-0 against the Shock, and then they fuck it up all again, and they're home immediately. What is this? It's not like Dallas were just like sleeping. It wasn't like they weren't there. Decay was just 1v90. He was actually just that guy. He was the best player in the lobby. He was the best player. Those 2 maps with Decay was the best player in the entire tournament. I don't know what it was. I don't get it. I don't know. I just know it was there. And then the rest of the team was just Wing in. They're just holding it down, and they're just walking into the Dallas Fuel spawn. It doesn't matter. Decay's killing everything. I don't want to contribute any of this success. Washington didn't succeed at all. But this is all Decay. This is just all Decay. I don't know. And if you want to look at the actual most impressive win, it's like some random qualifier game that like doesn't actually matter. And this franchise is doomed. I don't know. You could say, oh, they beat Shock in Countdown Cup. They beat London in Summer Showdown qualifiers. I don't give a fuck. Nah. This is it. This is Decay dicking down Dallas so hard, it made me think that they actually might just fuck around and knock them to lower bracket. Like, that's Washington. That's their season. That's their best match of the season. If you want to see the insane solo carry Sojourn, just go watch that. Dallas is like, you know what, we're gonna go just focus the only guy that's in the lobby for the enemy team. Sure, and then you'll win. And then you'll go and win the tournament pretty easily. Go ahead. I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know why I'm wrong in the comment section. Let me know why I'm right in the comment section. I'm right. Thoughts? Concerns? But yeah, so like this video, subscribe, all that stuff. Hope you enjoyed. Have yourself a good one. Deuces.